Hello, welcome to the course on how to conduct astrology research. This entire course consists of 25 tutorial videos. Each one of these videos stands by itself, so you don't need to do them in order. On the other hand, if you want to start with the basics and work your way up, you can watch the videos in the order that they're shown here. And there's a link to the right of each title of each video, so you can click on that link. It'll open up the video in a separate tab in your browser. You can watch the video and then come back to this tutorial video and click on the next one. So you don't have to listen to me go through this whole thing, and just come back here and click on the link to the video that you're interested in. Well, I'm going to describe these, what each one of these videos are and what they accomplish. The very first video, how to conduct astrology research, well, this is an excellent one to start with because it gives you some basic guidelines for what is good to do in your astrological research and what does not tend to work so well. And there are some ideas in here that might be a little bit surprising. For example, I don't recommend that you go in immediately and do what we call a hypothesis test. Most researchers would recommend that you do some exploratory research and the different kinds of exploratory research, and some of it is relatively easy to do, so you don't have to get into a lot of statistics. There are a lot of things you can do to refine the ways that we find out what works in astrology. So that's really an excellent one to start with. And then video number 2 is on the zodiac sign Aries, and this is an example of how you can think about astrological ideas, how you can determine whatever it is you're interested in astrology, whether it's a zodiac sign like Aries or Taurus or a house, and rather than just look at a few what we call anecdotal cases of clients or famous people, there are methods that you can use that we call more rigorous. They're just more impressive. They're better at showing whether Aries is pioneering or is it independent or is it none of the above. And the research method that's really good for doing this, because it's relatively simple, doesn't require as much effort, and is not as complex as some other research methods, is called extreme case sampling. And I talk about extreme case sampling in this very first video. But video number 3, which is over 35 minutes long, so it's a fairly long video, goes into some of the technical details. So you can skip video number 3 if you want to, because you don't need to go into that much detail to appreciate that extreme case sampling is very powerful. But if you have some doubts about it or wondering what this big deal is about extreme case sampling, this explains it in some more technical detail, why extreme case sampling is so much better than what we usually do in astrology. So these videos on research in astrology are not just about the technical details of doing astrological research. There's some implications here about how we do research in general, and how we write articles, and how we think about things. So these first few videos, I think, are really important for really anybody in astrology to be aware of. Okay, then, starting with video number 4, is how we access data in the Sirius software. Well, you know, when you're doing research means you have data, and one of the nice things about the Sirius software, especially the latest version, as of the time I'm making this video, version 2.0, is it has so much data, over 89,000 charts, tens of thousands of charts, with what we call AA accuracy from a birth certificate or birth record, and the ease with which you can find that data, look it up. It includes almost all the data from the online AstroDatabank, and it links to that online AstroDatabank data. So this is good to know about. So when I'm talking about research, I'm not necessarily talking about technical, detailed hypothesis testing with statistics, but how you get access to data and use it. So video number 4 is very, very helpful, and 5 also. If you're only watching a few videos and you're not going to go through all of these, I recommend the first one, definitely, and videos 4 and 5. on how you can get access to the data in the Sirius software. And video number 5 shows you some little tricks and some new features we added recently to help you pull out the data you want. For example, suppose you're looking at popular musicians. You don't want to sort, to look through the entire database with all these ancient musicians. There's ways to pull out only the musicians with AA data, only the ones born after a certain date. A lot of cool things you can do that are explained in tutorial number 5. And then tutorial number 6 shows you some of the fundamental research features in Sirius. For example, the astro signature research feature and how you can develop ideas and test them. And video number 7 shows you some advanced features. So video number 6 is also a good one. So if you're only watching a few videos, I recommend number 1, 4, and 5. And then if you want to watch another one, number 6. Because a lot of you are not going to watch all of these videos, but those are really important ones, I think, for anybody in the field of astrology. Okay, now our next section of videos that I have here in the yellow color are on exploratory research and quantitative research. This is where we start getting into more detail on doing a more serious kind of level of research. Video number 8 is called Possible Astrological Indicators of Mental Illness, and I show one of the exploratory research features in the Kepler and Sirius software. Again, exploratory research is really wonderful. It really helps you figure out how astrology works. And then video number 9, the artificial intelligence feature of the Sirius software, is another kind of exploratory research. So videos number 8 and 9 are on exploratory research features. They're pretty exciting if you want to really dig in to do like an academic or professional level kind of research. Excellent videos. Number 10 is very interesting. You won't have the opportunity very much to use the research features described in video number 10, because video number 10 is doing research when you have scores, like psychological test scores for people, and you wanted to evaluate those. So in video number 10, I show how we can come up with an idea for extraversion. We have in the Sirius software some data collected by a professor of psychology that's included in the software, where he administered a psychological test for extraversion, introversion to hundreds of students, and we have those scores in the database, and how you can use the research features to determine who's more extroverted. And here we found out that Jupiter in the 11th harmonic correlates very strongly with extroversion. I show how I discovered that using the features in the software. So that's an advanced level of research where you do have some kind of test scores for people, and you want to see what people have in their charts to correlate with those test scores. And then video number 11 is about evaluating your findings, how in research methodology we use ideas like statistical significance and what that's all about, and how there are features built right into the Sirius software to help you evaluate your findings. Okay, now the next section, videos 12 through 19, are on forecasting research. So forecasting obviously is a big area of astrology. In video number 12, we talk about the basic forecasting research feature, the astro signature forecast graph, which is also great as a way of predicting the future outside of research. So you can use it as a research tool, or just use it to see what the future trends are. So you don't have to use the astro signature forecast graph as a research tool, but it also serves as an excellent research tool. And video number 13 is an example of using the astro signature forecast graph to come up with a formula to predict accidents. That's a really good video. If you're only watching a few videos, I recommend number 13 as another one to watch. I think I think you'll find that very, very interesting, how we can use visual tools to predict what's going on. Video 14 is a little 3-minute video. It's like a little clip, just a little quick blurb, you might say, on exciting discovery by astrologer Linda Berry on predicting gold prices. And video 15, which is much longer, almost 43 minutes, goes into the details of this gold forecast that was developed, astrological gold forecast that was developed by myself and then refined by Linda Berry. And then videos 16, 17, and 18 are for financial astrology. Video 16, if you're into financial astrology and researching it, highly recommend video 16 on how that's done. And video 17 is very interesting. In financial astrology, there's this idea of synodic cycles. So we describe what a synodic cycle is and how you can test those in financial astrology. And then video 18 is on how to get data into the Sirius and Kepler software. So if you you want to study gold prices, you need to have gold data. And so how you import the data, how you also select peak dates to develop groups of charts to analyze. So some research methods in financial astrology. So video 18 is not just on how to import the data, but this has this information on selecting peak dates and putting those into a research category to analyze in order to find out what's causing prices to go up or down. And then video 19 is on astrometeorology, how in astrology people are predicting the weather or claim to be able to predict the weather. In the Sirius version 2.0, we have added an incredible astrometeorology features, so that those astrometeorology features are described in detail in video number 19. Okay, that's that whole section on forecasting. Then we have 2 videos here in this pink color on Did Gauquelin Prove Astrology? You may know that Mikhail Gauquelin and his wife Francoise Gauquelin did research on astrology. It's probably the best known and most famous research in astrology, and these 2 videos review what the Gauquelins found. I reanalyzed the results in the Sirius software. A lot of the Gauquelin data is included in both the Kepler and Sirius software. I reanalyzed it, and videos 20 and 21 show the results. In video 21, we show how combining Gauquelin's idea of sectors with some ideas in harmonic astrology produce very positive results. So that video number 21, I think, is a good one to watch if you're interested in, you might say, what we call quantitative research in astrology, which means getting like solid numbers out of it. Very interesting. Okay, and then the last 4 videos are not really on how to do research in astrology, but some of the benefits and how research in astrology affects other things you're doing. In video number 22, I talk about how using research can actually improve your teaching and your understanding of astrology. So this is, I think, a very interesting video. It also ties in to the last 2 videos, which talk about some similar themes, that we're in a modern age, an evidence-based age, where people assume that if you have an idea on, say, a medical problem and what kind of therapies would work, that there's some kind of research data behind it, and how using research helps you integrate in and communicate better with people. I sometimes hear astrologers talking to the general public, and there's a big communication gap. Very often, because in astrology we tend not to be evidence-based. So I talk about that. The last video, number 25, on the history of astrology, at the end of that, the reason that this is related to research is that at the end of this video, I suggest that in the modern period, as you see how astrology has developed and evolved over time, the need for astrology to adapt to how we think in modern times and how that's different from in the past. And so video number 23 is also on how we communicate with the general public and problems with astrology when we don't understand research, when we don't incorporate research concepts in a more evidence-based approach, and what some of those issues are in communicating with people, and the relevance of research to astrology and to the way we communicate and work with people. Okay, so there you go, my friends, an incredibly comprehensive entire course on astrology and research, totally free and available to you, and jump in there to whatever interests you. I hope you find something useful, and hopefully you find it somewhat inspiring. You know, I'm a numbers guy, a nerdy sort of guy, and it really bugs me when people think of research as something dry and boring and tedious. So I hope this inspires you, gets you excited about figuring out what really works or doesn't work in astrology. Okay, my friends, take care. God bless. Namaste.